So, last class we looked at the quick return synthesis, and for the slider crank synthesis, for a 2 position slider crank synthesis, we saw that if you specify one of the 3 quantities, either the offset, or length of one of the links R2 or R3, then you get a unique solution. So, we looked at the case where the offset was specified, we will look at the other 2 cases today. So, essentially the fixed pivot lies on the circumference of a circle whose central angle is 2 delta, where delta is your construction angle based on the time ratio. Based on the given time ratio. So, then this chord anywhere on the circumference of that circle So, this angle is delta, and you can have any number of solutions, but this, if this is the specified offset of the slider crank, then you locate the point OA in this manner. Okay. So, today we will look at the, so from here I can now determine R2 R3. So, I again have OA B1 equal to R3 plus R2, OA B2 equal to R3 minus R2. So, I get a unique solution once I know. So, what is given here is the stroke and the time ratio, stroke B1 B2 and time ratio, and the offset is specified. So, let us look at the next case where you are given stroke, you are given the time ratio, hence you know delta, and you are given R3, which is the length of the connecting rod. Okay. If I look at the geometry, okay, I do not know the solution yet, but I know what it is going to look like in the 2 extreme positions. From the geometry, I want to figure out how to construct this mechanism. So, if I join A2 to A2 A1 and extend it to meet B1 B2 at M, okay, I have joined A2 A1, the 2 extreme positions of the crank, and extended it to meet this at M. Now, this angle, what is this angle? That angle is just delta, right. If this is OA, then this angle is delta. Now, if I look at triangle OA A2 A1, okay, delta is my external angle. So, delta equals sum of the interior opposite angles, which are OA A2 A1 and OA A1, sorry, A2. But obviously, in this triangle you have OA A2 equal to OA A1 equal to R2, that is the radius of that triangle. Therefore, these two angles are equal. So, each of these angles, so this angle here is delta by 2, therefore, this angle vertically opposite, this is also delta by 2. Okay. Now, let me look at triangle MA1B1 and triangle B2A2M. This angle is also delta by 2. So, let me call this angle psi. Okay. So, if I say, if I look at these two triangles, I can write sin psi by the sine rule, sin psi by A1 B1 equal to sine of delta by 2 by MB1, and then from the other triangle I can write sine of pi minus psi. This angle is 180 minus psi or pi minus psi. So, that divided by A2B2 equal to again sine of delta by 2 by MB2. But sine of pi minus psi is sin psi. So, this is equal to sin psi by A2B2. Therefore, so you have A1B1 is also equal to A2B2 because that is the coupler length. Okay. Therefore, from these two I see that MB1 equal to MB2. Okay. That is M is the midpoint of B1 B2. Okay. So, what does this tell me? A1, okay, lies on a circle which makes a center, for which the chord MB makes a central angle of delta, because MB1 makes delta by 2. Okay. Similar to what we did here, you have B2 OA B1, you know, where B2 B1, that is the chord. OA lies on a circle whose central angle is 2 delta, and now I have this additional information that A lies on a circle for which this chord MB1, where M is the midpoint of B1 B2, makes a central angle of delta. Okay. So, I use these two to basically construct. So, because I am given R3, R3 is A1 B1, right. This is the given R3, this is what I want to use. So, let us do that. So, I have B1 B2, I construct M is the midpoint of B1 B2. Okay. So, from B1 if I draw the perpendicular bisector of B1 B2, then if I construct this with delta, minus delta angle, okay, this way, then this gives me where it intersects that perpendicular bisector. gives me the center of the circle on which OA lies, because this is again going to make the angle delta. Central angle will be 2 delta. Okay. So, this pivot, the fixed pivot for the crank lies on this circle. So, I can construct a circle that passes through B1 B2 with center at OA. Okay. And I know, so all I know now is this is the circle on which OA lies. Okay. Then I also have this additional information that B1M, okay, I am looking for the point A, right, that has to lie on a circle for which this chord makes a central angle of delta. Okay. So, this is if I construct the perpendicular bisector of MB1, okay, and then this angle is minus delta by 2. So, where it intersects this perpendicular bisector gives me the center of the circle on which A1 lies. This is from the previous slide, the geometry. So, now I draw that circle. This is circle A1 on which the locus of the possible points for A1. This is the circle on which all the possible OAs lie. Okay. So, now once I construct this circle, I know the length R3. So, from B1, okay, I cut A1 such that this distance is R3. That gives me the location of A1, lies on this circle. Now, I extend that, because if you go back, you see that B1, A1, OA, they lie on a line, it is an extreme position. So, the two links are collinear. So, I extend, I found A1 on the circle K1, then I extend it to meet the circle OA, and that point gives me the point fixed pivot OA. Okay. So, this is sort of a zoomed in version of this, okay, because I am showing you the So, you see that OA still lies on a circle which makes a central angle of 2 delta. A1 lies on a circle with central angle of delta, where MB1 makes a central angle of delta. In the first case, B1, B2 makes the central angle delta. OA lies on that circle. Okay. So, using simple geometry, I have now gotten a unique solution. So, I have a particular stroke length, I have a particular time ratio, I have a particular link length for the connecting rod, and then now once I do this, how do I find R2? R2 is nothing but R2 is once I do this construction, R2 is OA A1, and my offset is this. So, get R2 and offset from the once you finish the construction. Okay. So, this is for the case where the length of the connecting rod is specified. So, you had options for 3 things: the offset, then the length of the connecting rod. Now, the last one that we will look at is the length of R2 OAA. Do you need me to write the steps for the previous one, or you are okay, right? It is fairly straightforward. So let us look at case 3, where stroke is given, delta is given and R2. These are the given quantities. I need to determine R3 and the offset. So again let us look at the geometry. So first I construct a point D on this A1 B1 such that B1D equals twice the R2 that is given. So this angle is delta. So here I do not know, I am taking a general case and trying to figure out what my construction should be. Okay. So let us say my B1D is 2R2, then what is my OAD? OAD is OA B1 minus B1D, which is equal to R3 plus R2 minus 2R2, because by construction I have constructed D in such a way that B1D is 2R2. So this is equal to R3 minus R2. What else is R3 minus R2? OA B2. So this is equal to OA B2. I take n, a point n such that it is the midpoint of B2D. So let n be the midpoint of B2D. Then I have already shown this is equal to this. I have taken n as the midpoint, so this is equal to this, right? B2n equal to nd, and this side is common. So the two triangles are congruent. Therefore, triangle DO2N is congruent to triangle OAN B2OAN. Those two triangles are congruent. Okay. If I take this angle, so these two angles are half of each other, right? And this is a 90-degree angle. This is 90. This angle is delta by 2. So what is this angle? 90 plus delta by 2. Therefore, D is going to now lie on a circle call it KD with chord B1 B2 subtending a central angle of 2 into 90 plus delta by 2, which is equal to 180 plus delta. Okay. So let us do the construction. So I have B1, B2. This is should be B2, this is B1. I have B1, yes.
Would the angle not be subtended 90 minus delta?
Why would it be 90 minus delta?
We will B2 subtending at D, and the viewer B2 subtending at the center. Those two are supposed to add up to pi. Right?
So this would be on the other side.
Yes.
Yes, this would be on the other side of the, it will be on the other side of the other segment of the circle, because it is an obtuse angle. So it will be on the smaller segment of the circle. So you have B1, B2, okay. Then I construct the perpendicular bisector of this, okay. So my OA will still lie on the circle which makes a central angle of 2 delta. So if I take minus delta from here, this will give me the location of the center of the circle on which OA lies, just like earlier, okay. Now to construct the other one, I measure to find, see again B1, B2 has to subtend an angle equal to 90 plus delta by 2 on the circumference, which means 180 plus. So I take this 90 plus this angle, okay, that is equal to 90 plus delta by 2. I construct it there. So this gives me the center of the circle on which point D lies, okay. So I can construct that circle with center at CD and this radius, okay. And then I know there is not a, okay. So this is the circle KD, okay. Now I know that B1 to D is 2R2. So from B I cut an arc to find this point D, such that B1D equal to 2R2, okay. So and I still have to draw this circle. So I have, because I have to find OA, right. So this point here will give me, okay, the fixed pivot of that, okay. So now I have located OA from, so OA to B1 is R2 plus R3, okay. So I know R2, so if I, this gives me, sorry, A1 A1 B1 will be R3. Okay, and my offset is this. So, OA B1 equal to R2 plus R3. So, I know. So, I found R3 and the offset. Okay. So, if you remember this one figure, the two extreme positions, and it is just geometry using congruent triangles or similar triangles to do this construction. So, you do not really have to mug up the steps or anything, it is fairly straightforward. Okay. So, this circle here is, as it has been from the first construction, that is the circle on which OA lies. Okay. So, this kind of wraps up the slider crank synthesis for a given stroke length. If you know the two extreme positions, the dead center positions for the slider crank, then you can synthesize the slider crank for a given time ratio, and either the other things, then you have, you know, an infinity of choices, but if you specify one more thing, then your solution becomes unique. Okay. Otherwise, you only have how many choices? An infinity of choices, because if you are given the stroke length and the time ratio, OA necessarily has to lie on the circle that passes through the two extreme positions and makes the central angle 2 delta. Okay. So, any point on that circumference of the circle of the segment where it makes delta, you can find the location of OA, but if you specify one more quantity, then your solution becomes unique for that particular problem. Okay. So, now from two position motion generation and the dead center synthesis, we move on to 3 position motion generation. So, we saw that for 2 position motion generation, you could have an infinity square of solutions if you wanted a 4 bar, an infinity of locations for the pivot OA, infinity of locations for OB, and then you could create infinity square 4 bars to do that. Now, we come to 3 position, where again we use the fact that if I want to move the coupler from A1 B1 to A2 B2 to A3 B3, okay, that is my motion generation. Position and orientation of the coupler in the plane changes. Then essentially I am looking at finding a circle that passes through A1 A2 A3 and another circle that passes through B1 B2 B3. So, A1 A2 perpendicular bisector, A2 A3 perpendicular bisector, they will only intersect at one point. So, now this becomes a unique solution. Similarly, for B1 B2 B3. So, if you specify one more position for the coupler, you have gone from so many solution options to a single solution. Okay. But that is assuming one thing. What am I assuming here? Why am so that seems really restrictive, right? That seems really restrictive, that I don't have a choice anymore, but it's not really true. Why is that? They are not the limit positions, that I can make them the limit positions, but what am I fixing here that I need not fix perhaps? The points A1, B1. See, I can still have a body, okay, for which these are my reference points. I am looking at the orientation of A1, B1, A2, B2, A3, B3 to define the position and orientation of that rigid body. But I may have flexibility in, do I have to make A1 my pivot, my moving pivot, a circle point? No, I may not have to do that. In some cases I may have to, in which case it becomes severely restrictive, but otherwise I actually have how many more solutions that are possible? I can choose any A on this body. So, infinity square for moving pivot anywhere on that plane. Similarly, moving pivot 1 and infinity square for moving pivot 2. So, I need not pick A1 and B1. So, if this picking A1 and B1 gives me a solution that I am not happy with, I do have options. That's the point I am trying to make here. For A1, B1, if I choose A1 and B1 as my moving pivots, I only have one solution. But I could choose something else as my moving pivots, even though my reference for the motion generation is A1, B1, A2, B2, A3, B3. Okay? Because essentially what will I do? I could have like this, A1, B1 moves to A2, B2, moves to A3, B3, but I can pick some other point E and F on that body, and what would be the relationship of E and F with AB in each position? They would be, it is a rigid body, they are all points on the same rigid body, so they are invariant with respect to AB. So, I just change my problem from A1, B1 moves to A2, B2 moves to A3, B3. If I pick EF as my moving pivots, then I say E1, F1 moves to E2, F2 moves to E3, F3. Once I do that, then my E, OE and OF may be in more suitable locations. Or if the first case, if A1, B1, if that one gave me toggle positions in between or was unsuitable for other reasons, now I have more options. Okay. Again, with the graphical method, it is sort of a trial and error method that you are using here. So, in each case you would have to either construct a model or simulate to make sure that it moves from A1, B1 to A2, B2 to A3, B3 without encountering a toggle position, okay, which may or may not happen. Okay. But intuitively it is very easy to understand. Those 3 points lie in a circle, it's and these are the choices that you have. So, this is the case where you can choose alternate moving pivots or alternate circle points for this synthesis. If I wanted to limit it to these positions, what do I do? And if I ensure that it is moving in the right order 1 to 2 to 3, then I can just connect a driver diode. So, I can say OEE E1 has to move to OE E3. Okay, I keep this part of the mechanism the same. You know, I may have a OF, I have not drawn it here, but I will find OF, and so OF may be somewhere here. So I can say that this linkage OE E1 F1 OF. So this is my fixed pivot E1 F1 OF. This 4 bar is capable of moving this rigid body from the through the required positions A1 B1, A2 B2 and A3 B3. Okay. And if I have ensured that it is moving it in the same order, if that is what I want, then I can just look at the 2 extreme positions. I can make OE E1 and OE E3 my 2 extreme positions. So then I can say that is my rocker which has to move through this angle theta, and then I can connect a driver diode to it. I can choose some point somewhere again on this body and connect a driver diode to it. So when I do that, now I have accomplished the 3 position motion generation as well as limiting it to the extreme positions, so that it is not going to some A3 B3 that A4 B4 that I do not want. Okay, I am limiting it to go from A1 B1 to A3 B3 and back to A1 B1, and additionally with the driver diode I can now give a continuous input. Okay. So using simple geometry I have been able to accomplish all this synthesis objectives. Okay. So that is the beauty of the graphical methods. It's very simple and very intuitive. Okay. Here is a real life example. So say you have a dump truck, okay, and essentially you see all these construction trucks everywhere, right. So you want to dump, so for which this bin has to move, that is your rigid body now. It has to move from x1 y1 to x2 y2 to x3 y3. Okay. I may or may not need to specify x2 y2, it just depends on how it is going, but I may want it to move gradually, so I may want it to hit that position, and so, but I may not be able to locate my moving pivots, or if I locate my moving pivots at x1 y1, I may get a solution that is off the bed of the truck. Okay. So in that case now I have to find alternate moving pivots. So alternate moving pivots that can still, so alternate moving pivots that will still give me a solution that lies within the space that I want. Okay. So this is 3 position motion generation, and we have now looked at 3 position motion generation with alternate moving pivots as well. Okay. But here again it is still hit or miss. I may have to try, so I may have to pick some other points A, B, see if that lies within the bed of the truck. Okay. In real life situations you may be more constrained by where the fixed pivots are located. Okay. I may have only a certain space where I can locate the fixed pivots for the linkage. So in the next class we will see the case where if the fixed pivots are given, how do we design the linkage to still accomplish the same motion generation for the coupler, okay, and that is where we will use inversion. Okay.